All right, you just got your hours, you're going to the airlines. What does training for your first jet look like? Day one, you show up, you get your picture taken, drug tests, INDOC, like, hi, welcome. First block was INDOC, their company policies, regulations, everything that you need to know. It was pretty straightforward. A couple tests, just pay attention. Nothing really to study for. I would start focusing on systems and kind of how that plays into it. Next block, we went into systems. We kind of just broke down the system manual. Each day was about 8 to 10 hours depending on the day. Sometimes we got out early, but not usually. I met up with my class. We'd go through the system. The biggest thing was to understand the upper panel of your aircraft, because walking through that, you'd kind of walk through the systems and how they interact. Huge tip. From there, we had like 2 lessons on the Paper Tiger, which is the cockpit posters, and you'd kind of sit and go through the flows. And then we upgraded to a non-motion sim, which was essentially just the cockpit with the computer, so you could run your callouts, flows, pressing the approach buttons kind of in sequence, seeing the pace of the aircraft. And then we came into the full motion sims itself. Day one, you kind of show up, you're just running through like flows, doing a couple landings, some basic approaches. And then sim 2, pretty much immediately, all of our emergencies started doing single engine approaches, missed approaches with an engine inoperative. We'd lose our engine on takeoff. We lost our engine at 400 feet AGL. We were doing engine fires, dual engine failures, flat failures. My favorite emergency to practice was when one of us would lose a certain flight control. So literally one of the pilots would be controlling the pitch and the other pilot would be controlling the bank, because you had to disconnect the sensors to make it work. And that just shows you how much redundancy is actually in the aircraft. The last 2 sims were pretty much getting your check ride ready, running through it a couple times, fine-tuning anything that you need. Now the check ride, you did the oral separately. It was about 2 hours each person. You ran through all the upper panel. You did a little bit of GOM, which is like your guidelines, regulations that you had to know, like understanding your alternates, derived minimums, etc. You'll get the gouges and whatnot when you go to your training company. We also did the sim separately. We had different seat supports. So when you went into the sim, it was just like your check ride that you'll be practicing for. You'll know what to expect. After that, you have something called LOFT, which essentially is like a real world flight from point A to point B. Mine was Houston to Dallas. It's kind of so you can see the flows in real time, understanding what a line flight looks like an actual airline flight. After that, you're cleared to go on IOE. That's going to be between 2 to 3 trips by the plane with your check pilot right next to you. They'll sign you off once you're done, and then you have to consolidate. So you have to get 100 hours in your jet within 120 days after your check ride. And from there, it's all about seniority, building time, and upgrading to captain before you go to your final job.